Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I was inspired while scrolling through my Instagram feed and I saw Cindy Kimberly in this beautiful top from the brand Superdown, which is a brand that I've seen on the Revolve website before. I love going to the Revolve page because they have beautiful clothes, but the prices are kind of high, and being able to sew, I can take the inspiration and be Insta goals, but on a budget, so yeah. And I actually found out that this specific top was sold out in most sizes, so hopefully this video helps in case you wanted this top as well. And I took the X straps, but I didn't make them adjustable because personally I've never made an adjustable strap, and since this will just be for myself, I can just use one measurement. For the version I showed in this video, I made the top in red, but as you can see in the thumbnail, I also made a black version and I can't decide which one I like more. So you'll see the black version at the end of the video. And for the pattern, I used my painter's tape method, which is just me taping the shape of the triangle bust section and refining the shape by drawing and cutting off the excess tape. I then trace it onto pattern paper and add a 1 cm seam allowance all around, and those little arrows show where each piece connects to the other. And for this waist flounce, I took my rib measurement and the length I wanted it to be and made a rectangle, which I then folded into 4 sections to slash and spread it later on. I'm letting you guys know that I had to redo this flounce pattern because, as you will see later on, I didn't spread it enough, so when I cut it out and I put it like around myself, I didn't get the effect I wanted. I originally only spread it about 4 centimeters before taping it down and smoothing the edges and cutting it out. And this is the lining and the outer piece. To fix the original pattern, I took it and I folded it into 4 new sections to re-slash and spread it. This time I spread it by 8 centimeters. And I recut both the lining piece and the outer piece with pinking shears. This is just so it doesn't fray. And as you can see, here's the dramatic difference between my first piece and my second piece. The second one has more of a C shape. Onto the triangle bust part. I'm just connecting the middle seam for the lining and the outer sections with a straight stitch and a universal needle. I did this for the lining and the outer piece. After, I took my bust pieces and connected them to the edges of the flounce, opening the seams of the bust so that everything lies flat when sewn down. Time for the straps and the front strings, which measure 25 inches for the straps and 16 inches for the ties. I made my straps longer rather than shorter and then cut them down later. Since I used ribbon, I sewed my pieces in half to make them more narrow, and I always mount the edges of the ribbon to avoid fraying, and it makes them easier to work with. I then placed the straps and the ties down on one layer of the top and tacked them down with a straight stitch a few times. After, I pin an X formation of where I think the back straps should go before I try it on to make sure the straps aren't twisted and are the right length. Then after sewing them in the right place, I cut off the excess. I tuck the ties and the straps inside to move on to sewing the two layers together, carefully clipping the pieces and leaving a gap to turn it right side out later. Take your time and make sure none of the straps or the ties get caught in the seams while doing this part. And as you can see, I constantly checked that the straps were out of the way because I didn't trust myself, so I kept slipping my hands between the layers and luckily didn't have to redo this step. Right side out to double check no straps were injured in this process, and thankfully it was all good. I decided to break the sewing into the first sewing around the top part and now moving on to the bottom, still leaving the gap to further connect both pieces. I clipped all of the points to help them point out better once they were the right side out, and then flipped it all the right way. And in the beginning, I wasn't thinking of top stitching this since the super down version didn't look like it was top stitched, but I thought it would look cleaner with the material I used for my version. But feel free to not do it if you don't feel the need to. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and join me for next time, and hopefully you give this a try. Subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Bye!